In an era that promised progress and prosperity, a chilling reality has emerged. Young generations today find themselves in an unexpected predicament. In this thought-provoking exploration, we'll delve deep into the harsh reality faced by the young generations, confronting the uncomfortable truths and raising crucial questions that demand our attention. But how did we reach this pivotal moment? What factors have contributed to this reversal of fortune? And most importantly, what can be done to reverse this troubling trend? Join us on this eye-opening journey as we hear first-hand accounts and hear stories that paint a vivid picture of how the young generations are now poorer than their parents. Most young professionals can only hope to live as their parents did. It's becoming tougher for them to find stable jobs, afford homes, start families, and save for retirement. Strangely, this is happening despite our wealthier world. We wonder why this is. How is that? While society overall is richer, each generation seems to be poorer. Is it better to be part of a large group of people your age or a small one? Well, traditional economic theory suggests that smaller groups are preferable to reduce competition for jobs, housing, and resources. However, the baby boomers challenge this theory. Despite being part of the largest population boom ever, they are, on average, very wealthy. Lord David Willetts, a British politician and author, suggests that being part of a larger cohort can be advantageous in a democratic system. This grants the group more voting power on generational issues and more influence in the market. When the boomers were young, they voted for policies that benefited them, such as affordable or free education and strong social welfare. As their careers peaked, their voting patterns changed. They favored lower taxes, reduced business regulations, and protection of domestic industries to avoid outsourcing. They also supported zoning laws to protect their home's value and pushed for larger houses in desirable locations. Over time, houses transformed from mere commodities to investments. In old age, the boomers started voting to support retirement benefits, healthcare infrastructure, and the removal of wealth taxes, even if it meant sacrificing the schemes that served them in their youth. Willetts' findings focus on the UK, but similar trends can be observed in advanced economies over the past half-century. While there are individuals who vote for the greater good rather than self-interest, the average pattern supports the notion that larger cohorts have a significant influence on policies and markets. In Australia, the outcome of the 2019 federal election was greatly influenced by a policy related to retirement account taxes. The party in favor of maintaining the favorable tax structure emerged as a winner, largely due to the support of older Australian voters. Similarly, in a recent election, the opposition party withdrew their proposed changes to retirement account taxes and won convincingly. A study conducted during the 2017 British election revealed a shift in voting patterns. Instead of being divided by wealth and social class, Conservative Party voters were increasingly divided by age, with the young and old showcasing differing preferences. Many of these insights were drawn from Lord David Willetts' book, The Pinch, and a lecture at the Royal Institution. Exploring these demographic processes is worthwhile if you're interested in the subject. Access to favorable government policies over a lifetime can significantly contribute to wealth accumulation. Consider how much better off the average millennial will be if they'd received free higher education. Such support could make a crucial difference in their ability to save for a house deposit, which is an important issue to address. The housing divide is influenced by a significant detail that gave baby boomers an advantage. They were a large cohort in a small world with all the voting power and little competition. Back then, the global population was much smaller, and if you were a white man, the competition was even less severe. Jobs were easier to find because there were fewer people to choose from. Additionally, women had low labor force participation, reducing the labor supply but taking care of household tasks, saving money on childcare and food. With higher incomes and lower expenses, houses could be paid off quickly despite higher interest rates. In 1985, the median home price in the USA was $82,000, which, adjusted for income, is equivalent to $103,000. The average mortgage rate at that time was around 15%, resulting in annual payments of approximately $15,000. Today, the median home price is $430,000, and the average interest rate is just over 5%, resulting in an annual interest payment of about $21,500. Comparatively, these prices seem similar, but we shouldn't overlook a few important factors. Firstly, inflation during that time was not the main driver of housing price increases. Housing prices grew at a relatively modest rate, while other expenses became more expensive. Secondly, it is not entirely fair to solely blame inflation when considering the affordability of housing. Baby boomers had advantages beyond inflation, making it easier for them to buy homes. So while the prices may seem comparable on the surface, there are underlying factors that contribute to the challenges faced by younger generations in the housing market. Surprisingly, high interest rates actually help them. Saving money in an account with a 10% interest rate per year accelerated their savings goal. The higher rates prevented house prices from becoming too high, since the repayments would become unaffordable. However, with a mortgage, you must also pay back the principal amount. Repaying a $430,000 mortgage over 30 years cost an extra $14,300 per year, totaling just under $36,000 annually. In 1985, the principal repayment was around $3,000 per year, resulting in a total repayment of just over $18,000, half of what the 2022 home buyer would pay despite higher interest rates. In simpler terms, the person in 1985 could have paid off the home in 5 years instead of 30 if the repayments were the same. Why focus on housing? Well, houses are crucial in our lives, but they are unproductive assets. Unlike other investments, houses don't create value. They can increase in value and provide shelter or rental income, but they don't produce anything tangible. Real estate is much bigger and more significant than other investments like cryptocurrencies. However, it's irrelevant in terms of impact. Even if Bitcoin's value soars, it won't affect people's lives like housing affordability does. Economies revolve around cities, where economic activity thrives. When real estate prices skyrocket, it becomes impossible for workers to afford housing, as most of their income goes towards rent. While higher wages may temporarily offset this, it only benefits lucky landlords who own property in these areas. Landlords tend to reinvest in more property rather than contribute to company growth or consumer spending. This cycle drives up market values and drains money from productive centers into unproductive assets. Expensive housing also hampers social and geographical mobility. A Pew Research study from 2020 revealed that 52% of young American adults aged 18 to 28 still live with their parents. This number is likely higher after 2 years of COVID-19 and surging house prices. Young adults are financially tied to their parents' location, limiting their options when offered better jobs in different cities. They face a trade-off between higher pay and increased living costs. This situation not only affects individuals, but also hampers productivity for businesses by depriving them of talented workers. The concentration of wealth in a single generation can have significant consequences for economies, especially as populations age. Japan serves as an example of this phenomenon despite not facing the same housing problems as the Western world. However, we must consider whether this long-term issue truly matters. Intergenerational wealth transfer happens when people pass away and leave their wealth to their children or other beneficiaries. The concentration of wealth may seem concerning, but it's only a temporary issue. Much of the wealth being passed down consists of private family businesses. The problem arises when inheritors lack the ability or willingness to run these businesses, which are important for the economy. Selling these businesses to capable individuals is a possible solution. However, there is concern about the type of people receiving the inherited money. Typically, they don't receive it until they are older and nearing retirement. They're likely to use the money for their own retirement and then pass it down to their elderly children. The accumulation of money in the hands of older individuals limits opportunities for younger generations to participate in activities that drive the economy, like buying homes, securing good jobs, and starting families. This intergenerational wealth issue hampers economic progress. Solutions like wealth and estate taxes have been suggested, but they may face opposition from the voting bloc that benefits from the current situation. Blaming a single generation such as baby boomers may not be helpful. People naturally vote in their best interest, and policies benefiting the majority are the foundation of democracy. Instead, we should examine economies where wealth concentration hasn't occurred. China, The world's second-largest economy provides a different example. The older generation, known as the lost generation, didn't experience the same prosperity as their Western counterparts due to a dysfunctional economic system. Economic conditions and the availability of cheap energy also influenced wealth accumulation. It's important to recognize that once people become extremely rich, they rarely become poor again. Billionaires affect wealth statistics, and their influence persists even in generational wealth analysis. Wealth accumulation primarily stems from favorable economic conditions rather than solely manipulating public policy. Therefore, addressing wealth concentration requires a comprehensive understanding of economic factors beyond blaming a specific generation. Do you think we can build a world where opportunity knows no boundaries? Let's have your answers in the comment section below.